Yo, it's Riker.
What is up, you amazing, beautiful people? I hope you're doing well wherever you are at, whatever time of day or night you do into watching this video, because in today's video we will be reviewing the Tier 10 British Premium Tank, the Chieftain Mark 6. So if you do end up liking the video, smash the like button, leave a comment on your favorite part of the video or anything in general down in the comment section below, subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're always notified when I upload a new video. And without further ado, let's get into the stats of this vehicle. So right away, for the survivability of this tank, you have 2,350 hit points, which is pretty decent for a heavy tank. For the main armor, mainly your sides and your rear, you have no armor at all, and on your hull in the front, the top part does have some armor, but the bottom part, the lower plate, has no armor at all. Most, if not all, of your armor is going to be in the turret on the front and sometimes on the sides, but not quite. And we'll get more into that in the armor inspector part of this review. And this is honestly the lowest I have ever seen the chance of fire when the engine is hit. By far, all the other ones are either 20 or 15%, but this is 10%, so that is always nice. And for the view range, it has been doing me good. I have had no problems with the view range at all. And for the concealment, it is a heavy tank, so it's not going to have the best concealment, but it is still pretty decent for a heavy tank. And for the damage per minute, you have 3,167, which is very good, and the reload time is 7.58, which is also very good for this tank. And for the average penetration for the APCR, your standard one is going to be 260, and APCR for your premium ammunition is going to be 310, and for your high explosive, 110, which is honestly really good for the HE. And for the average damage, your main APCR ammo is going to be 400. For your premium APCR ammo, it is going to be 360, and for your high explosive, it will be 515. And the aiming time and dispersion are very good on this tank. I honestly believe this tank has one of the best guns at tier 10, in my personal opinion. You guys can go ahead and agree with me or disagree in the comment section below and explain why down in the comments. And for the gun turn limit, going up for the gun elevation you have 20, and down for the gun depression you have 10. And honestly, in the replays, it felt like I had a lot more gun depression than this. And for the top speed of this tank, going forward is 42, in reverse 15, average speed is 30. And skimming through these stats, the turret turn rate is 36.45, hull turn rate 36.45, terrain crossing capacity is 96 for the road, 88 for the ground, and 61 for the water, and engine power is going to be 825. Overall, this is a very mobile heavy tank in my opinion. It's very mobile for a heavy, and borderline, it's a heavium in my opinion. It's kind of a heavium, but I don't quite play it as a heavium, only in certain situations or depending on the battle, how it is going in the enemy lineup. For the equipment, I do not have all of them unlocked because I'm trying to save my credits for another tier 10 tank that I recently researched. But I will go ahead and tell you guys what I would put on this tank. So obviously right here you guys see gun rammer. I might honestly switch it out for calibrated shells later, but in the replays you will see I am running gun rammer throughout all of them. I have not had too much of a problem, but in some circumstances I would have wished I had a little bit more penetration to get the shells in. And then for this one, I would obviously run defense systems, and then improved optics. It's a heavy tank. You do not want the camouflage net. Go ahead and get the improved optics. Get that view range up so you can spot the enemy tanks for your TDs or anyone in the back, or even just for yourself if it's in a 1v1 situation. Then enhanced gun laying drive, I would get that because honestly I do not need supercharged for this tank at all. At least I don't think so. Go ahead for this to increase that aiming time and get snapshots off. Next, go for improved assembly. At least that's what I personally would go for. Just get the extra HP instead of the plus 4% to the hull and turret armor, because I honestly don't think it's too worth it in my opinion. This tank already has insane turret armor, and the hull armor is kind of iffy. Pretty much everybody could pin it except for that upper plate a little bit. So honestly, this is a 50-50 for me. You guys could choose whichever one you want, but personally I would probably go for improved assembly. And for the next one, I will choose engine accelerator. You guys already know why I would choose this if you watch my other reviews. Just to get mobility in every single slot of this tank, the average speed, the hull turn rate, the engine power, all that stuff, instead of just in the hull turn rate, because I honestly think the hull turn rate on this tank is okay. Then for this one, I will go for vertical stabilizer, like I said for the one above it, just to get the aiming time down and get snapshots off, because this tank's gun is already very insane and very accurate. and I do not think refined gun is needed on this vehicle. So these last two is honestly up to you guys. This is honestly just your opinion, but for me personally, I would just go for toolbox on this one, so I could just, if I'm tracked in place and I run out of repair kits or anything, I don't have to wait there and sit there as long as and get hit as much, so I could just get the tracks repaired as fast as possible or engine repaired as fast as possible and get back into the action. Then this last one, I would prefer high-end consumables just to have the duration of the adrenaline or the engine power boost, just to get to places quicker for a longer duration and to get shots off quicker for a longer amount of time. And for the ammo of this tank, you could see that the APCR, the standard APCR, I have 74, which this tank carries a lot of ammunition, and I was not expecting that. And the premium ammunition, I only have 6, and for the high explosive, 10. And if I were to change it, I would do it like this. For the main APCR ammo, 68, and for the premium APCR ammo, make it 8, and for high explosive, 14. You guys could obviously play around with it, but this is if I were to change the ammo setup I already have. High explosive, just for when you encounter those situations where you actually need to use the HE and you get some very deadly shots on some squishy tanks, or if you get behind a heavily armored tank. APCR, the premium one, obviously, so I could confirm shots and confirm kills on tank quicker without risking a bounce with the standard ammunition. And standard ammunition, you're going to be running most of that anyways, because that's the standard one, the main one you should be using and you will be using. And then for provisions, I am using pudding and tea and just the black tea. Just to get a little bit of everything better and increased for both of them. Same reason, just a bit of everything increased. View range, damage per minute, reload time, all this stuff just a little bit increased, and to overall make my tank more rounded and better. And then for improved fuel, just get all of the aspects of mobility up, making it better in each aspect in each area. Then for consumables, already you guys know the multi-purpose restoration pack. If you guys are not running this pack, you need to start running this pack, because if you aren't, you are missing out, because this is all of the first aid, the fire extinguisher, and the repair kit in one. So honestly, go ahead and put that in. If you aren't, you are missing out. And the second one I am running is the engine power boost, just to get to places quicker, like at the start of the game, getting to positions fast as possible, and strong positions at that, so you can defeat your enemy, is very important in my opinion. And then third is going to be the adrenaline. Like I said, if there's an enemy tank out in the open or we are brawling it out, I could just pop that and get some shots off quicker and faster, and hopefully take him out before he could take me out of the game. And that does it for this part of the review. I'm going to go ahead and hop in Armor Inspector and show you guys the armor and the insane turret armor on this tank. Alright guys, we are in Armor Inspector, and right away you could see the red and orange on the turret. Right there, 328, 372, 268, 428, 292. Like, honestly, this turret is insane. And the hull right there, 371, 372, 625. The upper part of this hull in the turret is the strongest points of armor in this tank, or on this tank I should say. This lower plate, anybody and everyone is going to be able to pin this. Same for this cupola. It is a huge weak point. And I was about to say like this little top part here, but it's up to 300, 600. So yeah, this turret, nobody is going to be able to get to that, through that. At least I don't think so, unless they load premium ammunition and they have very high pen on the premium ammunition. So mainly you have to look out for the cupola when you are going to haul down. And this bottom plate, you want to try to hide that. But let's go ahead and check out the sides of this tank. Right away, 50, 53, 108, 122, 892. So obviously the sides are not that well protected. And let's go ahead and look at the backside. 25, 25, 30, 30. The backside is obviously going to be some of the weakest parts of this tank. And obviously you will be HE'd there. So if at all possible, try not to have an enemy facing your backside. Try to angle it a little bit in some way, just throw off their penetration, possibly get very low rolls when they are firing the HE. And obviously this side is going to be the same as the other side that we just looked at. And I believe this is to prevent the heat rounds. I could be wrong. Go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. So if you use heat on the side of this tank, it most likely won't go through, because yeah, that's not actually part of this side. It is just a skirt. So overall, how you want to play this tank is in a haul down position. As you can see, this gun could reach down pretty low. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up that black screen that I usually do for these tanks that you could go haul down in. You could already see that this part, it's 1,322 millimeters. Nobody is going to be able to hit that, and nobody is going to be able to pin your turret at all. The only part that they could possibly pin, if they even hit it, but right now, look, it is 448 millimeters, but right there, it is 103. So if they are able to get a nice shot into the cupola of this turret, they will be able to pin you. But overall, everywhere else, they cannot pin you at all. So get in a strong haul down position in this tank. That is how I mainly would recommend to play this tank. And like I said earlier, you could also play it as a heavy M, as this tank is highly mobile. So towards the start of the battle, you want to get to a very good haul down position, very good strong haul down position at the start of the battle, and just start laying shots into the enemy and just shredding their HP away. But that will do it for the armor inspector part of this video, and let's get into the replays and how you guys should play this tank. And one last thing I forgot to tell you guys about this tank, you can use it as a frontline brawling tank, but I would not recommend it. And if you are rushed by another enemy tank and you have to duke it out with them, you get as close as possible to them and show them only your front part of the tank, the front hull, and your front turret, because if they are not able to bring their gun all the way down and hit you in the lower plate, they will just bounce off your upper plate because of how strong it is, and obviously the turret, they cannot pin it at all. The only thing I would have to look out for is the cupola, so just raise your gun up and wiggle it in front of the cupola so they could have a chance of missing or just hitting your gun and not pinning you. And right off the bat for the start of this battle, we are just going to cap out base B. I'm going to rush over to base A, cap that out, and then we are going to rush over to base C and cap that out, so we get 3 bases captured and get a lead on the base capture points. If you look at the minimap, you can see that the Sheridan is all by himself over by base D, and the entire enemy team is over there, so he is going to be deleted from the game. I don't know why he decided to push over there when everyone on the team pushed over here, but at least we know where the enemy is at, and we are able to go over and cap out base C before they do end up pushing over here, trying to cap the bases and take us out of the game. But there we go, the Sheridan is gone from the game. But we are making our way into base C, and we are going to cap it out as fast as possible. And the enemy team is going to start pushing over to base B. So I try to get over there and just cut them off, stop them before they could actually cap it out and get another base in. Because right now we have 3 bases captured and we are ahead on points even though we are down 1 tank. And I considered stopping there, backing up and hitting the Vickers. But as you can see, the enemy team is capping out base B. I wanted to try to get over here, get a shot off to reset the cap, but I was not quick enough. They managed to cap it out, but I do get a shot into that standard and I get multiple hits in return, which is not good, so I have to back up and I have to hold this position. I get another shot into that standard B, poking up, gonna get a shot into the enemy Sheridan, keeping an eye on my surroundings in the minimap, seeing how my team is doing. Over on the left hand side, I check if the WZ is going to be pushing me. He is not, and for some reason I decided to push up. I guess I was getting a little greedy, trying to get damage in and hunt down that Sheridan. However, I decide that is a bad idea after I get shot, but I do get a high roll into him. And now I'm going to officially hold this position right here, because this is a super strong position on this map. If you have a very strong turret and upper hull and you have a good amount of gun compression, because you could just easily work this little hill or ridge line, whatever you want to call it, and get shots in and get a crap ton of bounces. We only have 650 damage blocked, but if you do play it super effectively, you could get a whole lot more. I have been a little careless this battle, I will admit. There's plenty of things I could have done different, but there we go. We take out the standard B, and the T-57 Heavy did take out the Leo 1 when he tried to push us. And I decided to help out a Kronwagen and take out this WZ to get another gun out of the game. And now the Sheridan is about to push me, so I decide backing up, waiting for this reload, poking out only when I'm reloaded, get shot in, and he bounces my upper plate, which is very good. And I let my team know that I'm attacking the Sheridan because I'm going to rush him since he is a one-shot, and I'm not going to shoot until I know I can get the shot off right there. We take him out of the game, and all that's left is the enemy VK, and we have all the bases captured, but he manages to take out our T-57 Heavy. So I pop the speed boost, rush in there, get a shot in, and I pop the adrenaline. Try to get another shot off at least, if not 2 more shots. There we go. Get another shot into him, and we win on cap points. Can we take him out? Yes, the Waffle Tractor, I believe, took him out of the game for the win. and that was a pretty decent battle. And we do manage to get 1,210 damage block, so you can get a lot of bounces in this tank. And it was only a second class, but we did 4,194 damage, very good credits, and 3 tanks destroyed. I believe we are on top of the leaderboard in this battle. But that battle shows you guys the maneuverability of this tank, how we were able to cap out all 3 bases before the enemy team even took out our Sheridan and started pushing up on base B. And also that one position that I decided to hold, if you guys do find a nice position like that where you could go hull down, only show your turret or the upper part of the hull, you could get a lot of bounces if you play it super effectively and get a crap ton of damage out without the enemy being able to hit you in return. And for this battle, it is going to really demonstrate the mobility of this tank, the speed, and the view range of this tank, and also how effectively you can play this tank even in a bad position as long as you know what you're doing. So right away we do start pushing over to base A. At least I decided to just get there as quick as possible, and if I get there first, I could use the little hill there for a hold down position and get shots on any enemy that is attempting to push over to base A as well. But our team is capping out base B and the enemy just capped out base C. So they are going to have a little bit of a point advantage over us. So we are going to push over to base A, get in it, start capping out. This is the position I was telling you guys about, where you could go over here and use this little hill as a hold down position, but my team decided to go past me, so I decided the enemy would have been spotted by now if they did push over here. And almost 1, 2, 3, 4, at least all the heavy tanks and 1 TD is spotted over by base C and pushing over to base B, and the enemy also has base D right now. So I decided to push up, since I'm pretty sure there's no enemy tanks over on this side so far, and push up into this position, see if I could get shots on the Sheridan or anything. I thought they were going up that little hill, however they were not. Just trying to see if I could get any shots and if anybody would go out in the open, but I decided nobody is going to, so I decided to push up. Since we are stuck out in the open with not that good of cover, only a rock and that's about it, and some bushes, so I need to get pushed up, spot the enemy tanks, and get into a nice position where I can spot the enemy team so my team could get shots in and I could hopefully track them in place and assist my team. Just like that IS-4, track him in place, and one of our teammates does get a nice 516 shot into him, lowering him down to just a little over 1,000 damage, 1,000 HP. See if I can get a shot on that E5, however I cannot. And I am the only person getting spots for my team right now so they can get shots in, so I decided to hold this position. And if I am to push up closer to the city so I can spot more enemy tanks for my team to light them up. And I'm just trying to get some shots in as well. See if I could get a shot in on that Sheridan, but however he crosses under and I decide to shoot that WZ who keeps pulling out into the open. I already got 2 shots into him, and see if I could get a shot into that IS-4. There we go, got a shot into him. Critical hit his track. I should have aimed in on that track towards the start a little bit more so I could track him in place, but my team lowers him down to a definite 1 shot for anyone on my team. And right now I've only done 1,600 damage, and I decided to reposition, but there's the E1. I aim in, try to track him in place for my team to light him up. However, his track is only damaged and I do not track him in place, which is very unfortunate. And there's the Sheridan. I just spotted him pulling up, getting that shot into him, and I'm looking over at that E1 because I'm considering pushing this Sheridan, and I decide screw it, I'm at full HP. If I get hit by the E1, it's okay. And I believe the enemy TD that is still left did hit me, but I ended up taking out of the Sheridan, so I feel like that is a pretty good trade just to get a gun out of the game. And there's the E1. I pull up, get a shot into him, only it went under the tank and damaged his track, which is very unfortunate. I wish I could have got that shot off. And I think my assistant damage or spotting damage, whatever you guys want to call it, is over 2k damage so far. And let's see if we could get that close to 3k damage. But there's the WZ. He rushed up on me. I get a shot into his track, tracking him in place, and I'm asking my team for help. And there's the E1. He gets a nasty shot into me. My team does get a shot into the WZ, and I take him out of the game before he gets another shot into me. And my team takes out the enemy E5, so all that's left is the enemy TD and this E1. I decide to go ahead and hunt down this E1, get as much damage in as possible, and see if I can take him out of the game. Load HE, get a very nice 500 plus damage shot into him, however he gets another shot into me, and we are both 1-shots for each other. And the enemy team looks like they're about to win on cap points, but we already have way more than them, so I'm not too worried about that. But the enemy team does start capping out base B, which is very bad. So I need to hunt down this E1 as fast as possible and take him out of the game. There he is. He decides to poke out, aim in, get a shot. He bounces me, and I hit the dirt right before it hits him, which is very bad. It is not good. And that could have cost me right there if he did pin me and I missed my shot. So I decided to rush up. Our reload is quicker than his, and hopefully he's not reloaded yet. There we go, we take him out of the game. I do not think he was reloaded. And my team does take out the enemy TD for the win. And if you guys were paying attention, I got close to 3k assistance damage from spotting and just tracking enemies and letting my team light them up. And we get the first class, 3,662 damage, very good credits, and 3 tanks destroyed. Also, this tank is a very good credit maker, as you can see, and we are on top of the leaderboard. But for this battle, it really demonstrated the mobility once again, getting over to base A, starting capping it before my team even got there, and hopefully if the enemy did push there before they even got there too, and if they did, I could have gotten into a hold down position. And also, this battle did demonstrate that this tank's spotting range is very good, and you could definitely work with it. And with the good amount of reload on this tank, you could track enemies in place and let your team light them up. That is another way you could play this tank for the spotting role. And also, this battle right here will demonstrate that as well towards the end. And this is going to be the mastery game that I got in this tank. Obviously, I'll make a own separate video on this and maybe even put it in the OP replays, because let me know down in the comments below if you guys think this battle right here is going to be a OP replay or not. But remember earlier when I told you guys that you could use this tank as a heavium as well, but since our light tank did push over to base B for some reason, I decided to take up the medium role, go over the medium side in case the Leo 1 did push over here and flank my team and got sniping shots off. However, the Leo 1 was spotted over by base A and B, so I know I'm pretty good unless another heavy tank on that enemy team pushed over here. So I get into cap, but I feel like the Gorilla 15 was about to shoot me. I felt like somebody was watching me, so I started to reposition, and I got a lucky bounce on my track. Tried to get a shot in return, but it did not quite hit. And our IS-7 did manage to flank around as well. And I'm going to use this position once I cap out base C to just snipe the enemy, since I have shots. I have shots on the enemy, so I'm not going to waste this opportunity when I can hit them from here instead of rushing in and getting shots up closer, and I could possibly get hit as well. If you could do the same amount of damage from a distance instead of pushing up and brawling and getting hit in return, why would you do that? If you could get damage from distance, go ahead and do that, snipe. And if somebody calls you a camper, just ignore them if you are doing the work and getting the damage out, like we did right there on that Yak Tiger. I was going to see if I could get shots on that T-57 Heavy, however I cannot, so I focus as Leo 1, get a very nice HE shell into him, lowering him down to a definite one shot. I see the IS-7 rushing up, so I switch to APCR, my premium one, get a shot into him, and as you guys could see, this tank is very accurate and super effective. You could definitely use this to snap shots off and use it as a sniping tank if the role does call for it, like in this situation. Seeing if I could get shot in that Leo 1, I decided to take a blind shot, and it did not connect. And now, since I don't really have any shots, I decided to go ahead and move. And if I still had shots, I would have stayed there and kept on getting the shots in. But since I no longer have shots, I decided to move, reposition to where I can. And I see the Leo 1 starting back out, so I stop, aim in, see if I could get a shot into him, but he decides to go back into cover. And I see the Gorilla 15, so I'm keeping my eye over there, and I see the Kronwagen flanking our Sheridan, and our IS-7 is taken out by the Gorilla 15. So I try to get a shot on that Kronwagen, but it only damages his track, not even tracking him in place or doing any damage, and our Sheridan is taken out. However, our Grill does take out the Leo 1, which is very good. And I decide to back up into this position right here of these rocks, and I could go ahead and poke out the other side and use tank gun depression kinda to get shots off and go a little bit hull down. And the Gorilla is telling me to spot, and I say affirmative because I was already thinking that I was going to hold this position, spot the enemy, and as you can see on the mini-map, he's over back by base C, and he could get shots off if he has them. If anybody decides to rush me or not, like this Kronwagen, I'm going to go ahead and focus my attention on him. However, that Tortoise is there, and he does track me in place. However, I do bounce it, which is good, so I cannot back up unless I want the Tortoise to hit me. So I have to face hug this Kronwagen, and like I was saying earlier, get up very close if they're rushing you, and you could get a bounce on your upper plate or your turret like he did on the first shot. Get another one into him. I did take some shots from that Tortoise because my rear end was hanging out a little bit from the rocks. And I did ask the Gorilla for help, and right there he gets a nice shot into the Kronwagen, and I do get tracked again by the Tortoise. He tells me to attack the Kronwagen, however I am tracked in place, so I have to wait for that track to get repaired before I can even move. I'm checking to see where my Gorilla is at, so I could push up, get a shot into this Kronwagen. There we go, get a hit into him, damaging his track. However, our Grill is shot in return, which is not good at all. So I have to be super effective, but I see a chance to get a shot on that Tortoise. Get a shot into him, he is now definitely one shot. And the Kronwagen looked like he was about to push me, but I repositioned, and he decided to back up because he did not want a nasty shot, because he is a possible one shot for me that's kind of stretching it. Now he is a definite one-shot because he's only on 2 HP and the grill takes out the tortoise. And I see him rushing me, so I decide to face hug again. But instead of getting a block, I ram him and take him out of the game. Get a nasty shot from the grill, load HE, get a nice shot into him. However, I am a definite one-shot, and he's a definite one-shot. And I'm pretty sure my reload is just a tad bit faster. So I decide to rush out, and grill decides to rush out as well. However, he does not have gun depression, and I am able to take him out of the game for the win. And we get a little bit over 1,000 damage block, but there's the mastery. Almost 5k damage. Very good credits. Well, not very good in this battle because I had to use some premium ammunition, but very decent credits. 3 tanks destroyed, and I believe we are going to be on top of the leaderboard. And obviously I gave the grill 15 an effective and team player. But that battle again showed the mobility of this tank and how accurate and insane this tank's gun is, and how you could just snap shots off, like on that Leo one when I got that 500 damage HE shell off. Also the view range when I had to go ahead and spot for the gorilla and hold off the Kronwagen and the tortoise at the same time so he could get the shots off and I could just keep them spotted and all that stuff. Overall, this is just a super effective tank and I honestly love it. This might be my new favorite tier 10 tank in the entire game. But the question is this tank even worth it? Yes, but right now no, because it is in lockboxes and crates. If this tank comes out in lockboxes or crates, do not waste your time getting it. Only get it if it comes on sale for gold or money. The highest that I would probably go for gold is 18 to 20k gold, because it is a tier 10 premium tank and it is going to be more expensive than like tier 8 or tier 9 premiums. If it comes out for less, or if it even comes out with a very good offer, like say more premium time, all the equipment slots unlocked, and already comes with the camo in the bundle, go ahead and hop on that if it's for a decent price, or even lower than what I just said for the gold. And for money, if it comes out for that roughly $50 or $60, and that's it. If it comes out for less, obviously jump on it because it is going to be a steal. But if it comes for crates or lock boxes, don't even waste your time on it. Just wait for it to come on sale for gold or money, because you do not want to gamble your money away. But if you guys did find this video helpful in any way, and if you guys did feel like I gave you guys some good advice on how to play the tank, the stats and everything, go ahead and give this video a like. Leave a comment down below if you guys do think this tank is even worth it, and what you guys would personally go for in money or gold. Like I said before, mine would probably the absolute max 20k for gold and probably 60k for money, since it is a tier 10 premium. Also subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're always notified when I upload a new video. And also, if you guys do have a request of a review of a tank, leave it down in the comment section below. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
How does it feel to breathe when you're dead? They never seen you.